Hey, I'm going to show you the contest result on a very odd question and what is there the most. So, I'm going to show you the result in the video somewhere. So that means you'll have to watch the video. But that's alright, that will be very nice. I want to show you first that we humans cannot accept something we don't know for the big questions. For example, in the past there was thunder a long time ago, and people couldn't clarify it with science, so they made a god, so they had something to hold on to. So people need a kind of a framework. They cannot live in a kind of a vacuum or something that there is no answer to. So they create something like or a belief or science, or they believe someone. All right. Oh, but next question, that's a bit scary because what do we know? And I have sad news, and maybe you don't like it, but science doesn't have answer to most of the big questions. And the science doesn't know why we are here, where we are, what the reality is, and where we are going. So, and they don't know the relation between time and space. Is time part of space, or the other way around? Is time infinite or finite? And yeah, we cannot handle it, and all these questions are not really that practical also. So that's all very time consuming if you think about that. You spend a lot of energy on those questions and might take years, and we are getting nowhere. So that's why I thought, yeah, why don't we forget about that? So why not make a simple framework what is practical and that is workable for us humans? Because even though we cannot explain how time and space relate to each other, still we can take a look at how it works for us, how we experience it, and what is practical for us. Let's see how people made such kind of framework in the past. The 5th century before BC, yeah, had something like I think that the Western thought was like they thought about they thought on elements like earth, water, air, and fire, and I believe um, they also look at like this way, like you had a conversation and you can say, oh, that conversation was a bit watery and was in an environment was hot that day, so there's fire and that doesn't that match. I'm not sure, but one of those frameworks, they use those elements everywhere, especially in China. Chinese thoughts, that's very metaphoric. India, we see similar, but also gunas. And in China, you have then 6 elements. You have 8 trigrams. Those are 3 lines that represent the kind of state and reality, and you can mix them. Maybe you know the I Ching of the Book of Changes. That is a book with 64 situations that can occur in real life. Very interesting, but it is very metaphoric and it's not super practical, but it is one of very good because it starts with space and time actually. Then you had the tarot, 78 cards, and astrology. I did astrology years ago. I followed the course and I learned that so then you have a card, you have to calculate something like the ascendant. That's like what's on the horizon, and then you see what what star there was on the horizon, and then you calculate the time and the position of the planet, and then you get some books, and that describes what it means when planets are on a certain angle, like that. So, but I learned to know some people who really thought everything like that. So they said something like, "Oh, I bought a phone, and that was a week ago on that place, and at that time the planet was there and the other planet was there, and so then they can tell more about the phone." So yeah, you can live with such a framework. Let's look at later frameworks. A lot of people have structures. Metaphysics is interesting, but it's still not very practical. I want something I can use next week. I don't want to spend too much time on, yeah, that one's not practical. I need to have something practical. Well, let's look at some tweets. What do some tweets say? So I go to the tweets. I go to my profile, scroll down. Let's go here. Yeah, so this is not on time, ordered on time. So, but this is an interesting one. He says a time. And then I ask, you said time. What? And then I ask him, what can you say about beginnings? Then another one says emptiness. We see light. And this is a good one. There are about roughly 2 billion ants, but 428 million blades of grass per person. But you would say electrons. All right, visual implies. Another one says nothing, empty void, dark energy. Stupid people. Well, actually, Einstein said something about infinity. You can look it up. Einstein does a quote from Einstein about stupid people related to infinity. So I didn't know that, but I've seen it recently. So questions. Jason Harp says, no matter what exists there. That's interesting. Particles. Space. Aha. Space. What I said is that give it another try. And then he said, well, how can anything beat space? Because there's nothing bigger than space. Atoms. Space. Space atoms sounds funny. Space atoms. Think about atoms with an astronaut with a helmet. Oh, water. And as for organism, I think largest is underground mushrooms, magma. All right. So these are all people joined the contest. Now here is my. I don't have an answer, but I can give a simple framework what is practical, and what I'm also using in the course I just developed. And I cannot paint well, but yeah, I have a mouse. I do my best. So first I start with this. There's supposed to be space, but I cannot represent space because we don't know if it's finite, infinite, and yeah, this is a shape, right? But I need to represent it somehow. and then time. So those two things could be infinite. We don't know, but those are the biggest things around in which everything takes place. So it might be the time-space continuum, or maybe time is part of space, or time doesn't exist at all. That's a perception of the we are humans. But for us humans, we operate like that. We say, let's make an appointment tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the basketball park. So we're making an appointment somewhere at some time. That is a basic how we operate basically. And then next to that, if time and space is not infinite, then let's go back to this tweet over here. Yeah, time has stayed true since the beginning of time. And I'm asking, what can you say about beginnings? So beginnings have a cause, right? So my thought was the biggest thing. Do I need to be in the circle around this? So let's hear space. As I said, I have a mouse, so I can also type, of course. So time, and if these are finite, if these are finite, and then there is a cause or reason, or a why reason. And in that space-time thing, there are many things, of course. There's everything actually. So, but there are also let's say this is a person. That is us. Imagine this is a ball, and a ball can do nothing. If you give that an eye like that, it can see from the time and space, so it goes from the outside to its a direction. It's that direction. If you have some things, you can act. Feet and hands, for example, or other things. And then we can act. So we can sense. Let's write a sense here. Sense. Act. Nothing happens yet because there is no brain. It looks like a machine with nothing, and that's not working yet. So let's say this is a brain, and it has also two directions. If the direction is from the body to the brain, those are feelings, or emotions. That's right, feel over here. And if the brain can action takes place, and that is similar to act. That's the direction, let's say outwards. Let's think. So that those are four basic functions. And people can tend to not to sense that much and think much more than the other things. And then that causes some problems because you're thinking a lot without looking outside, or people can do a lot of things without really thinking about it. Or what if you do a lot without actually asking yourself what you really want? it does feel. So all this together, from this framework, you can derive a practical framework what works for us human. We have something to hold on. We have a framework, and it's another framework than what we have here, and the more modern frameworks. So what I'm going to do with a tweet, because this is not science, I cannot provide, I cannot prove it, but that's my best bet, or that's what I think was useful. Well, it's not that practical yet because it's a very basic framework, but from this framework you can make something really that is workable. So what I'm going to do is, yeah, all these answers could be correct, even the ends and the blades. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to contact these contacts and provide them a code, 99% off code. Let's take a look at Twitter. No, I don't have new notifications. So this is then the end of the contest. So I ended on Sunday, May 30th on 4:18 p.m. Yeah, so that's it, and then I hope those people enjoyed it, and yeah, all right, thanks for watching, and then until the next contest, because I have something new in mind. All right, cheerio, see you.